Hi, thanks for watching. This is Loch Lomond, just north of Glasgow. And up here is Ben Lomond. And I was up there on Sunday past, the 31st, and the trip was inspired by this guy. Now, if you've not already subscribed, please do, especially if you like to find out about biblical trees. I'll give you a sample of the stuff he shows you. Right. And this is him showing you how the trees break down. Right, so right, and he shows stuff like this. And like I say, this is what's inspired me to go up Ben Lomond, because I know Ben Lomond is full of rocks. But like everything's big in America, the rocks in Ben Lomond are nothing like the ones he's seen in the USA. This is my walking staff, and I've had it for, well, over 20 years. I got it for a tree in Perthshire way back, and I forgot to take it with me when I walked out the door. And right at the start of the trail, I found the perfect replacement. In fact, looking at this tree, I could make a shelter with a raised platform for a bed. In fact, I did so a few years ago in Argyll. In fact, I'll put the video at the end of this. And you just cut round the entire branch. You don't just saw right through in case you snap it. But if you cut right round the whole thing, then all you need to do is snap off the centre core. And that's me telling people who are passing by what I'm doing. And all you need to do is tidy it all up now. Right. So like I say, that's a brilliant find, that tree. Because I mean, the forest is like B&Q, Home Depot. Anything you want is right in there. You just go to find it. Right, so there you go. Cut it to length, and we're good to go. So now we're on this new path. Let's go look for some remains of some petrified trees, because I know there's lots of rocks here. So we'll have a look and see just what's up here. But one of the best things about getting up here is the view. Because nobody ever questioned why the clouds don't move. You know, if we're supposed to be spinning in this part of the world somewhere in the region of 500 miles an hour, west to east. I'm not seeing it, and I'm definitely not feeling it. And that's Sloy Reservoir, and it's 7 miles away from where I'm standing. And this is taking you into the mountains in the distance are in Argyll. And they're 30 miles away, at least. Right, and Loch Lomond is 24 miles long. It has 22 islands and 27 islets, and it's flat and level. Just as level as the bottom of these clouds. The camera was handheld, so it's hardly perfectly level. But you get my point. I'll now show you a slideshow of what I consider to be the remains of trees that have been petrified and turned to stone. And right at the start, this to me looks like split wood. Right, so now the path is made up with loads of rocks like this, and this is the one piece, and it's been snapped off here, and it certainly looks like wood to me. And another piece, same thing. So this is all the rocks being split as the tree breaks down, and all the creases underneath, different layers. And there's more samples here, the split, vertical, horizontal, and it'll end up a cube, just like you've seen with the Hangman videos. And over here as well, and up here. And you can see all the ripples. That's tree rings. And there's a rock next to it. Same thing. There's a rock all splitting, just like we've seen. And same here. Up here. Right, so that's quite a big rock. And here's another one. With the lines running down. Same one, and there's the other side here. Again, the same thing. So it's definitely not lava, or what they call natural rock. So these are like everywhere. And this is part of the path. Some of the steps are 2 feet high. And again, this is on the path. This is what they made up the path with. And I wonder how many people know that they're walking over the remains of giant trees. Well, a few people found out because I told them. Right. That's a bad image. So like I say, the entire path is made up with these so-called rocks. And I often wonder how many people thought they did resemble wood. So, right. Again, you can see all the splits. I'm guessing they're the tree rings. So like I say, this hill is covered with these things. And you don't see this too clearly on this image, but these are all brightly different colours. You know, I've seen this on rocks before, but this was different. Anyway, this is the cobbler, and now that I'm on this new path, I think I'll have to go and have a wee visit at the cobbler, and I'm even thinking about going this Sunday, so I'll see how that works out. And again, the path is made up with all these so-called rocks. There more examples of the same thing. And these, you know, the hill's getting steep because the path goes in a zigzag. Because if they'd never done that, they'd need to set up an escalator or a rope or something. But they're just sharp corners and zigzags up the hill. And again, more of what I think is tree remains. You can make up your own mind, but I know what I think. Right. Again, just showing the same thing. You can see the way it's splitting. And that's a good example. So that'd be like a twig. Small twig from a giant tree. Right. And that's right behind it. And this is all splitting. So we know it's no rocks that's splitting, it's all trees. And there's the cobbler. I think that's just about 6 miles away. This is a small loch up on the side of Ben Lomond. This is just more evidence that, well, looks like wood. This is marble. And according to Hangman, this is the sap from the giant trees. Again, you can see all the folds and all the split at the end. And down here as well. Right. Another good example. And some of them look like wooden sculptures. And the same split again. I don't know what these holes are. I wish I'd noticed them while I was up there. I wish I'd noticed them while I was up there. And again, you can see the folds in the wood. Same here. And this is obviously split off. And maybe the bit that split off is lying right here. And again, you can see all the splits right down the wood. Up here again. Here it's been split off. I don't know where the other bit is. And up here as well, you can see the splits. And there holes. Giant woodworm. Giant woodworm. So, some of them, they look as if it's wood that's been rendered. That's not a natural rock, but it would be, if it would, that would split. Just like this. And the bottoms fell off. And again, this is a good example with the squares as it breaks up. And different layers. And you can definitely see all the lines. And this is another good example of all the different layers folded, like a warped branch on a tree. That's what that looks like. And again, it's folded over. And it's all split. It just looks like split wood. And again, the corners, different layers. Straight edges. Yeah. Definitely looks like wood to me. A little bit of right. This is excellent. You can see where it's split off. That does look like a tree. Yeah. So there's this. Yeah. You can see all the different rings here. It's again like a warped tree. And again. Right. So it's like wood sticking out the ground. And this bit here, just first thing to show you the size of it. This is a piece that while I was looking at all the stones and rocks, people were passing by and asking me what I was doing, and well, they ended up getting told about mud flood and you name it. They got an education into alternative history. So actually, I asked this couple as they walked by, they were talking to me about it, and I said, does that look like a bit of wood? And the guy took it off my hands, and he kept looking at it, and he says, it certainly does. And when I threw it down the deck, it split, just like a bit of wood. So, I was chatting to anybody that stopped to talk to me. I don't know that they read it or no, but they walked away being told about a whole different world. I was telling them about mud flood and basements and star forts and you name it, everything cropped up. So, I don't know how many, well, a few of them actually said, what's the name of your channel? So we'll see how that works out. Right. So there's loads of these mountains in Scotland that well, they deserve another look. Because these are everywhere now. And now I know what I'm looking for, I'm spoiled for choice. It's everywhere. And here as well. You can see the ripples under the grass. Again. More path made of trees. Yeah. And you can see some of them will split into like squares, and some still resemble a tree stump. It's everywhere. And this is again the path, more wood to make up the path. Because I don't see it as rocks any longer. I just don't see them as rocks now. Now I see them as petrified wood. Because that's what they look like now. Sorry about the camera flare. Again, that's another good example. And so is this. Right. This just looks like a piece of wood, no doubt about it. Right. So does this. Right. Oh, there's the local hotspot. And another piece that just looks like wood. And like I say, it's everywhere. So this is a bunch of branches. It's been lying all over the place. because I don't think it's the trees. I think the trees were removed. Aye, thanks for watching. Have you ever challenged yourself? I do it all the time. Originally, this challenge was a week, but I never had the luxury of time, which is something that we all take for granted, until it runs out, or we realise how much we're wasting. Anyway, Scotland still has some forests left, but they are mostly national parks or forestry commission property, which is why I headed for an old forest in Argyll. No restrictions on the fire, and on purpose I had no tent. The object of the challenge was to see if I could make a shelter to spend the night. It had been raining for days and the moss was like a wet sponge under my feet. I was looking for a campsite, so I found the perfect spot, and there's lots of birch trees and their branches are mostly straight. I make walking sticks from them. In fact, the staff I use when I'm walking like this is from a forest in the Trossachs. Anyway, this area also had no moss in the ground and a stream nearby, which was perfect. So I was expecting no rain, so the only problem would be the wind. And to find the predominant wind direction, I just sparked up a joint and watched the smoke. And as you can see, I've just built a simple A-frame here, and what I've did was I've cut the uprights long enough to bury them in the ground and leave a notch for the horizontal branches, which will be the base for the bed. And this is it before anything gets tied up. The next thing, I'm putting branches across here and tying them off at the corners. Right, so that's what you see here. So I've tied off at the corners and up here, and every third branch is strapped in to save the bed moving. Right, so the next thing I did was put loads of fern on the frame, and I gave me a mattress for my sleeping bag. This here is a poncho, just in case it did rain, and the back of the poncho there's branches and stuff to save the wind coming underneath. Next thing was a fire, and because the ground was wet I had to build a platform to start the fire, and then collect some wood, and you need a lot of wood to keep a fire going. And this is where I spent the night. There's enough wood there to serve my needs. So after a packet of soup with bread and my supper and a mug of tea and a couple of joints, I just lay back and listen to the sounds of the forest change as the night shift took over. The fire crackling, and just beyond that I could hear the rippling water of the stream. I'm a simple man with simple needs, and I'm easily pleased. And I was thinking, this is pretty cool. It don't got much better than this. Then I looked down to check the fire was okay. But what caught my attention, that blew me away. The forest floor was lit up like a Christmas tree. And I mean, it was like, it's like this, all around the campsite. And I'm thinking, what the Then I looked at the branches that I was lying on from the bed I'd made, and both of the cut ends were the same. And it dawned on me, it's the trees. There's something in the trees. And the floor of the forest was covered in the wood chips for all the branches. That was awesome. And I thought, yeah, this is pretty cool. So, if you've never done anything like this, I recommend you do. Just try it. That's a toolkit, by the way. Don't take much. And when I came back home, I checked and I found out that it was something to do with the trees right enough. It was like a fungus, and when it gets dark, they glow. Something similar to this. So, thanks for watching, and please comment.